about what is worse or what is best. Do it. Oh, domino. All right. Romeo, Romeo, there you go. Lord have mercy. I said, oh, domino. Romeo, Romeo, there you go. Say it again. I said, oh, domino. I said, oh, domino. Dig it. There's no need for argument. There's no argument at all. Yeah, if you never hear from him, that just means it didn't call. All vice versa, that depends on wherever you're at. Alright. And if you never hear from me, that just means I was down tonight. Oh, domino, alright. Romeo, Romeo, there you go. Lord have mercy. I said, oh, domino. Romeo, Romeo, there you go. Hey, all right, say it again. Oh, domino. Hey, hey. I said, oh, domino. Hey, Mr. DJ, I just wanna hear some rhythm and blues music on the radio, on the radio, on the radio. In the band. One more time.
I turn the music up, I got my records on. I shut the world outside until the lights come on. Maybe the streets are loud, maybe the trees are gone. I feel my heart start beating to my favorite song. And I can't stay dance, all the kids are bad. Until morning, it feels another life. I turn the music up, I'm on the other side. The heaven is inside. I turn the music up, I got my records on. For underneath your love, a sentimental song. Don't wanna see another generation drop. I'd rather be a comma than a full stop. Maybe I'm in the back, maybe I'm on my knees, maybe I'm in the gap between the two trapezes. But my heart is beating, and my pulse is starting. Cathedral to my heart, a sweet song. I swear it looks speaking to tell me so. A sweet
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi. Oh, I love your hat. Is that a direwolf? Maybe. Maybe it's a. Hey, who was partying with us last night? Oh, wow, that's too few people. There were so many people there last night dancing. Is anybody still a little inebriated from last night? Oh, just me? Okay. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Nerd HQ. Who is... yeah. Oh, wow. I love that enthusiasm. You, ma'am, are my favorite. Who's never been to Nerd HQ before? Oh, wow. And who's here for the first time? All right, some of the same people. Great. It's my favorite dumb joke in the world. FYI, it's my favorite. So I take it you guys are Hannibal fans? I guess I found the right place. All right. We are like beyond excited to have these guys here. You know, the last 3 years the first year I did Nerd HQ, I was literally like calling my friends and saying, come and do this thing. I can't even explain to you what it is, but come and do panels for me and raise money for charity. Which, by the way, you guys have been responsible for raising about $4,000 for Operation Smile just today. So thank you so much. It's a really amazing charity, and this is all for you guys. You guys realize this is an hour of Q&A just for you, right? Right? Okay, you better take advantage of that. Because some people just sit there and like, oh, what are we doing? It's like, no, there's no moderator. I'm going to be sitting here for a second, but like the guys that are coming on stage, they're here to answer your burning questions. So I hope you have a lot of good ones, right? Do you have a lot of good ones? Why do I always have to ask twice? I hate that. Let me just double check. Let me make sure oh, gosh, that's right. I always forget these things. Are we back to handheld mics, right? Back to handheld mics. Okay, so a couple of some housekeeping here. Is there flash photography allowed at this panel? No. You're so smart. Is there video allowed at this panel? No. A good spin. Is there fun allowed at this panel? Yeah. God, I love you. What else? Oh, at the end of the panel, make sure that you guys stay seated. Because we will, sure, I know, but we will dismiss. Thank you, dismiss. God, I had a long night. Good morning. I really need a Starbucks right now. We will dismiss you. No, thank you, though. I appreciate that. But it was just like dripping blood. Like, I'll hold off. This is Hannibal. I know. It should be dripping blood. Let's be honest. So we'll dismiss you row by row. And if you have a question, and of which you have many, I'm sure, raise your hand, and you'll be called on, and a microphone will be passed to you, and ask whatever you want. Sound great? Yeah. Does that sound great? Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna vamp for a second longer until I know if we have everybody. Do we have? Oh, right. Fantastic. Okay. So, I'm gonna do this just because I don't want to screw anybody's names up. I mean, obviously Hugh and Brian, but and also David. All right. So, without further ado, please welcome to the stage Brian Fuller, David Slade, and Hugh Dancy. And more.
Aaron Abrams, who plays Brian Zeller.
Mystery guest.
So you all know that you're here for a very great cause called Operation Smile, which is a wonderful charity, and we're so glad that you're here, and we're glad that we're able to support that charity, and you're here to support the show. So thank you so much. We've got some crazy, fantastic prizes for those who are here. We've got t-shirts, we've got pictures taken by David Slade over the course of the production, and we've got full scripts autographed by the cast and writers. So lots and lots to give away. Who all was at the panel yesterday? Yay! Yay! So why don't we open by giving something away? Aaron?
I have in my hand trivia questions. For those of you who are familiar with the show. Okay, so I guess what we'll do, hands on buzzers, that's how we do it?
Daddy-daughter
Hands on buzzers?
day.
That is first prize up. Okay, here's the question.
Can I answer?
I feel like they might know.
Yeah,
they
I'm
might be
ready.
quicker, but absolutely. Where is Will Graham's farmhouse located? Oh, okay, that's it. Wolf Trap, Virginia.
Good job.
That is the rule, apparently. We are yelling them out. It has been established. Congratulations.
You'll have to help us police the crowd if there's two people who yell at the same time. Stag people, flower crowns. I should have worn my flower crown from yesterday. I had it and then I lost it somewhere. It's in my hotel room, but I'm keeping it. Like, Thank you. Who did that come from? I think you should get a picture. Daddy-daughter day. Should we give something else away? Should we give
Yeah,
it
let's
away?
ask more questions.
All right, all right, all right.
These are crew shirts that have the
Badass.
perhaps whoever knows what this is called on Twitter. What size are you? That's a good one. Well, you got to answer the question. We've got lots of prizes. We've got lots of prizes. So how about some anecdotes from the production of Making Hannibal? Hugh? So we had a lot of really gory, weird deaths that happened.
Yeah.
What was the one that freaked you out the most, and why?
Oh, well, that's actually easy. That was Dr. Sutcliffe. And yeah. But the reason for that is, well, first of all, it was just gross. But secondly, we're friends. I'm friendly with him. We've worked together before, and we filmed our scenes on, let's say, Tuesday. Came into the set on Wednesday, into the doctor's office, and there he was with his head ripped in half. You know? And that was the only time. Like, I had no problem with the totem pole. I just wanted to see how they made it, and the bodies cut in half. I thought that was cool. But when I saw him semi-decapitated, I had to leave the set for a little moment. Well, it's not nice to see your friend's head chopped in half. So yeah, that was the worst for me.
Aaron, you got to see a lot of really gross stuff on the show.
Yeah, it's weird when you have to dig your hands inside of the bodies. There was one guy who I didn't. It was the first time I had my hand inside somebody, and I didn't know it wasn't.
Really?
It was a real guy.
The very first
Hurt.
time? Never before? Ever?
Oh, you went to college. Come on.
Allow me to rephrase. Inside, around, up in his organs. This is not. No, it's not helping me. Less words, the better for me, I think.
With people watching? No, still no.
Yeah. No. Cameras and the. But there was a guy, and he lurched. I thought it was a dummy at first, and I was sort of figuring out the blocking, and he sort of lurched because it was it was like a live actor. That was awful.
You were inside a live actor? For the very first time?
We all have our first time.
What about
questions?
you, David? What was one of the grossest thing that you did?
God, it's funny. I don't get grossed out. And we dealt with a lot of gross things. But I'm generally going, okay, just put it there, make sure the light's behind it, and by the time I don't know. I guess the thing that is I remember is corpse directing. When you, because a lot of the time you don't know this, that our show, prosthetics, really good ones, and we have great ones. They take a long time to do. Sometimes we just have to put them on people, as Aaron just told you, and when you direct a corpse, there's a lot of things going on. First of all, the person is sitting there, laying there all day, going, "I'm dead." And psychologically, that gets to you. I mean, I've directed a few corpses in my time. The first thing, obviously, don't breathe. Don't blink. And what was the story about the woman who was holding a bottle of? It was a block of ice, which is an old acting trick, which is like you hold a block of ice, you feel really cold, and I'm like, that's fine, but just don't blink. Hold your breath. But every now and again, you do. Anna, what was her name? The beautiful.
Anna Chlumsky?
No, that beautiful corpse from the first episode.
Cassie Boyle.
Not Cassie, no. The other one.
We've killed so many.
Cassie was a prosthetic. Cassie was largely a prosthetic. She was.
You mean the girl I throttled?
Yes.
Oh, Emily Nichols.
Emily Nichols, yes. Emily Nichols, my favorite.
Happy
corpse.
memories.
My favorite corpse. My absolutely favorite corpse, because she held her breath for as long as you needed. She never blinked ever. She was frozen. And, you would pour gore on top of her and stick her on a gurney, and you doing okay? I'm fine. Because it can get you.
There was the episode that actually didn't air was directed by a guy called Peter Medak, and there was one crime scene. They were trying to do a very, very wide shot. It was a dead family, and so the crew was all up on a balcony, kind of, and I was standing in the doorway, and so there was no. Usually you see the camera crew all around, but they were way off, and there's dead silence. The camera is presumably panning around. And in the silence, I hear Peter, who's Hungarian, suddenly shout out, "Stop breathing, little girl." That was horrifying.
So I have a script here for the very first episode. Aaron, is your signature on this? I can't tell because everybody's so scribbly and sloppy.
If it's not, it will be.
Yeah, no, it's not. Here.
Let's have you sign it, and then we will think of how do we process this so let's do hand raising. Hello, where are your pies? Where are your pie outfits? Oh, the clock! I love that clock bag. So let's have a question about the first episode. Do we have one of those?
Yep, that's in here for sure somewhere. Here it is. Wait, I'm stalling. It's happening. What was the name of Hannibal's first victim of the series?
It was.
Cassie, yes.
It was
Cassie Boyle. Miriam Lass is also acceptable if we're getting super technical, but Cassie Boyle is correct.
Good job, Eric. So food, we had a lot of food on the show, and food is people most of the time. So what was your favorite dish that Hannibal served over the course of the series?
It's not so much the dish, but I remember, I guess it was the meal that we had with Freddie Lowndes, myself, Abigail, and Hannibal, obviously, which, when did that fall? About halfway through the season. And it was a pretty straightforward... No, but what I found odd about it was that halfway through shooting the scene, I happened to look a bit more closely at the plate, and there was a bird skull sitting on the side of the plate. And I thought, really? Nobody's figured out there's something a little odd about this man? That he's boiling up small animals for plate decoration.
It's a flower petal.
It does beat a flower petal. When he gives me soup in the penultimate episode, there was a little chicken claw on the side, kind of trussed up by the bowl. So he's nothing if not detailed.
I remember in the last episode, two things about the food. One was, I actually got one where I think Janice had put a giant skull right in the front of everything. I was just like, maybe we'll lose just this skull, because the food looked fantastic, it looked really grotesque, and then there was this big skull. So I took the skull off, and as we're shooting early in the day, I'm like, what's the noise? What's that? And it's Maz's stomach, which is rumbling every now and again. And I go, Maz, you want to get this little snack? And he's like, no, I'm big food scene later. I'm starving myself for the food, because he eats all of it. Yeah, he just won't eat all day, and he loves, it was really good food. And he just waits, and then he just digs in. And so, it's like the resets times are like, okay, waiting for Maz to finish chewing. Ready? And action. There we go.
Most actors will have a bucket next to the table, and as soon as they call cut, they spit it out. Maz is not a spitter.
The controversial, no, he's not a spitter.
Maz swallows.
He's a swallower.
So, on that note, let's give away one of David Slade's fantastic photographs.
Orc
that he took over the
portraits.
course. So, do we have a food question?
Yep. There it is.
Poor Aaron has not been invited to Mads Mikkelsen's dining table yet.
No need to apologize for that. Okay. What dish does Hannibal serve Freddie Lowndes at his home, and why?
There's one that went up.
Salad because she's a vegetarian.
That's right.
Great job.
Also, that's the best blooper on the blooper reel of the DVD. I don't know if you guys saw that. That kills me.
Yeah, what he actually says is, shut up, bitch. As opposed to beep.
He was in character.
So we had a lot of really great guest stars on the show, from Gillian Anderson to Molly Shannon to even Ellen Muth from Dead Like Me. And do we have anybody who knows what Ellen Muth's character's name was on the show? I saw your hand go up first. Yes, and what size of shirt are you? Small. There we go. Oh, sorry. So we hadn't had Hugh act with Gillian Anderson yet. Don't you think we should do that in the second season?
I agree.
She specifically requested scenes with Hugh Dancy if she gets to come back for season 2, which we're hoping that she does.
Very much, yeah. Everybody else hates me at this point.
Aaron, you spend a lot of time in the BAU looking over bodies, and we're going to be having some really gory stuff for you in season 2 that you're probably going to have to be in waiters for.
What
And
will I be
nothing
wading
else.
through, Brian?
Human soup.
Ah. Spoiler in more than one way. Stomach spoiler. That's super exciting, though.
So, one of the great things about having Aaron and Scott and Hettienne in the BAU is that we have 3 actors who are have wonderful comedic instincts. And as some of you may have seen yesterday from the blooper reel, they are constantly cracking each other up. So what was an incapacitating laugh that you had during the course of filming?
There are times when Scott loses his mind, and it's hard because he won't. I think because of the background he comes from, he won't stop. Like, it's not like he recoups and then continues. He just continues to swear and then rolls through like it's a usable take. And you have to be like, well, I think we should reboot, my friend. But those are when he kills me, when he tries to basically roll through his horrific mess ups.
Yeah, I remember, I'm like, I can't use that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Retake.
Right. Yeah.
Don't move on. Go back.
What about you, David? When you were directing, were there any times that the actors were laughing that you were like, we were
I
running
remember
out of
something
time?
really funny, and it was really early on in the shoot, and it's a story we shared yesterday with someone. And, we were all, it was a night shooting, we were all exhausted. It was right towards the end of the night shoot, and we were shooting the opening sequence of the first episode where we first meet Will Graham, and he's in the house, and he's going through, and then he goes backwards outside, and then he goes charging towards the door, and we've got like 2 cameras bunch of sound people. Everybody's chasing after Hugh. Hugh comes running up to the door. And we're working in a real location with a guy who's like hanging around, and he just
has peanut allergies that we couldn't have.
Yeah, that's true. He had peanut allergies and was very specific. We weren't allowed to have any peanuts in the house. So
It's a shame because there was a whole peanut scene that had been written. But
we were quickly
Mr.
rewriting.
Peanut was the killer.
literally.
Yes. And so you imagine the scene. It's 4 a.m. Everyone is exhausted. We've done a really long day. People are just, they're still keeping it together. A whole bunch of them chases after Hugh. Hugh runs up the steps, kicks the front door open. The camera goes over his shoulder, and there's a bloke standing there going, "Ah!" And it was the guy who owned the house. He just didn't think we were going to be coming in, and
And I was,
and he was
carrying
he was holding a gun. And it was great because we just couldn't stop laughing. We were at 10 minutes when it recharged everybody.
He was just so terrified.
And he actually did shit his... Actually, the bathroom scene? Okay, so also in the first episode, there's the bathroom scene where Jack Crawford comes in, and he's basically at a certain point, and he comes in, you've seen the shot from earlier, he's really pumped up, and he's just gonna force it out of Will. And someone walks in the bathroom with him, and he says, "Use the ladies' room!" No, that guy didn't know that he was going to do that. And we know for a fact that he leaked.
Like he peed a little?
Yeah.
Just a little?
I mean,
Or,
Lawrence...
like enough to see a stain, or...
Not on camera.
Okay.
But Lawrence did say, "I'm going to do something." He didn't tell him what it was. So it was great. The first take was like, okay, why do a second take? Because
I've been a victim of many of those Lawrence Fishburne yells without warning you scenes, and I can also verify you a little bit of pee comes out, guys. A little bit of pee comes out.
I think that's my favorite part of the blooper reel is watching Scott react to Lawrence screaming, because he just is so frightened. And it goes on for about, I think in the extended version of the blooper reel, that
On
goes
the DVD available
on the
September
DVD.
24th.
It's charity. It's charity, but we're selling. We're selling stuff.
But the shot on Scott lingers for about a minute, and then there was an early version that almost had like sad music came in, because he's just like something dies inside him, which also happens. Peeing and internal death happens when Lawrence screams.
yeah, when we're shooting, it's just like going to war. You don't think about that stuff. Pee in your trousers, don't you? These guys, they have people who clean them and wash them. The crew, we just pee in our trousers. If we're lucky, we have a catheter. If the medic's on set, and sometimes you do voluntarily hose downs at the end of the night.
Well, fortunately, in season 2, Dr. Chilton will be having a colostomy bag, so he won't have that.
Yes!
So I have an autographed script here for the mushroom episode. So there were a lot of mushroom jokes that were on the cutting room floor, unfortunately, that Hettienne and Aaron and Scott were making all sorts of shiitake and hallucinogenic comments. Do you remember some of those, Aaron?
Shiitake. I remember shiitake. There was a lot of variations on shiitake, especially from Hetty, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
We had the Beverly Cats party pack of mushrooms was one of them.
Yes, you wanted to take the man home and make some soup.
So have you signed this one, Aaron? I can't tell. So, amuse-bouche. Do we have a fun trivia question about the Mushroom Man episode?
We don't. We can make one up.
Well, what about, does anybody remember the name of the killer in that episode?
Yeah. Well, you're half right. Yes. You're half right. Eldon Stamets.
Stamets. Very good.
Job.
You each get half a script.
One more question on that. We had a character from Wonder Falls. Oh, I saw you. What was her name? Gretchen Speck. What size of shirt are you? Small. Let's see. Extra large. Extra large. Large. How about an apron? How about an Eat the Rude apron? Yeah. So we on the show we had some fantastic directors in addition to David Slade. What were some of the tricky part is David Slade comes in and he sets the tone and he establishes the vocabulary of the show, and he is a very hard act to follow. So the cast has to break in new directors every week. What was a fun new director anecdote that you had where they were coming into the show going, "What the hell are you guys doing?"
That's a kind of loaded question. I don't know. Everybody actually slotted in incredibly well, as witnessed by the fact that many of the directors from the first season are coming back for the second season. Like Guillermo Navarro and others. Yeah, wonderful. And we did. But that was new to me, to the realization that very soon into the show, essentially we are custodians of it, and you have to help the directors, even though they're running it for the next 8 days or whatever it is, you kind of help them into the world. So we'd have the little conversations each time. But no, I'm not going to dish any dirt on any of them. They all did great.
You want to dish, Aaron?
I don't think so. I mean, you can't.
No, because
do it.
they're all
I can't
coming
do it.
back.
That's right. I'm far more expendable.
We've got another picture of David Slade that he took of Mr. Hugh Grant spattered with blood. What's a blood spattered oriented trivia question?
Sure.
What ailment?
In English,
Tough
please.
Tough start.
He is Canadian.
What ailment was Will Graham diagnosed with by Dr. Sutcliffe and ever informed of? Also, you gotta spell it.
Right down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you spell it?
Can you spell it?
That's very good.
Thank you. So how about some does anybody have any questions? Oop. I saw you first.
I have a mic. I think I was supposed to get it.
Oh. Oh, do you have a system? Okay, so Eric, you go first. You have the mic.
There we go.
Hello.
Whoa, that's really loud. Okay. So first off, really quick, if Freddie doesn't get a picture of you with a title crime card, Mr. Dancy, she's gonna kill me. So I'm gonna try. She will kill me. She knows a Hannibal. Anyway, my question is, you mentioned last night that the Raven Stag was mainly Will's first psychological view of Hannibal, but we've also seen a couple times in the show that the walking of the Raven Stag has been linked to Alana's footsteps. Is there something to that?
That, unfortunately, no. There's nothing to that. It was more sort of a psychological dream thing. When we dream, we sometimes incorporate sounds around the room into our dreams, and that was what was happening with Will Graham. So the stag is purely Hannibal oriented. Good question, though. Who's got the mic? Oh, there we go.
Why did you choose to move forward the appearance of Freddie Lowndes and change the gender?
We needed more female energy on the show. It was
And that was even after we'd cast Aaron.
You Dancy, everybody. You Dancy.
It was I was in the UK when the News of the World scandal was going down, so I became a little obsessed with Rebecca Brooks and her kind of galaxy-class schmoozer turned bad. And I thought, oh, we should have a slightly smarter version of a tabloid reporter, even though she said some really stupid things to Will Graham. What's your favorite Freddie story from the series? Because Freddie is Will Graham's nemesis.
Yes, although I think there's, it's interesting that knowing Red Dragon, that they end up in this, very uncomfortable alliance together, and I think that there's some room to be explored there down the line as well, right, for us. I love all the scenes with Freddie, with LJ, because she brings a different kind of energy. I think she's the only person who's... Everybody's a little wary around Will, or kind of polite, or treading carefully, and she just doesn't give a shit. I love that.
Aaron, you had a very specific encounter with Freddie Lowndes that didn't make it to the final cut because we couldn't see your face.
Well, yeah, it's something to be cut from this show. I always picture like, well, it was too graphic for this show. That sex scene, not true. But yeah, so my character had sex with Freddie Lowndes in a deleted scene, and then I'm a leak.
I'm sorry, you leaked?
Sure.
Leaked? Yeah, I leaked.
Yeah.
I leaked information.
The Easter punny has visited the panel today. Have a script for Potage that is autographed.
Aaron, have you signed that script?
Have you signed this script?
This is the weirdest runner.
Look at them. I can't tell who is who. I know which one's me.
Mine has sharp points.
There's Scott Thompson. There's Mads Mikkelsen. There's Hugh Dancy. There's
Lawrence.
Jean. I literally can't tell. So that is the episode where Abigail Hobbs returns home and has an unfortunate encounter with her friend. Does anybody know what the first and last name of her friend? First and last. I saw you in the red flower crown.
Marissa Shore.
That is exactly right. Thank you. Another question?
Who's got the mic?
Oh, who's got the mic? Mike, who's got the mic?
Hi. I have 2 questions, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, my first question is, obviously in the show there are a lot of scenes that really reference the movies, and I was wondering how you decided which scenes from the movies to parallel in the show.
Well, a lot of it was just sort of the iconography of those scenes. For instance, the very last scene in the series, I knew we were going to do that from when I pitched the show. I said, and we end the first season walking down that long corridor, and in the last cell on the left is not Hannibal Lecter, but Will Graham. And that sets up our whole arc for season 2. So I think the bigger the iconography, we wanted to touch on it, and we did an episode that was really our Silence of the Lambs episode. So
Sorry, I'm just looking at you. That thing on your head.
I'm delicate with my flower crown. So what was your favorite Hannibal inside?
There's I love that speech, which comes in episode 7, I believe, which is when we start getting into the Chesapeake Ripper, and kind of revealing Jack Crawford's obsession with his crimes. And we're sitting in the bathroom after we found the body in the bath. And there's a whole speech which I'm now going to fail to remember, but maybe you know it by heart, which is lifted, I think, directly from the book, and it's Will's attempt to describe the Ripper as he imagines him. I see him as one of those. That's exactly. Yeah, you got it. Then they don't leave them on machines. They take them off. They let them die, but he doesn't die, and nobody can see. And I love that. It's such a literary speech. It was originally in the pilot, I think, and it was originally in the pilot, also given to Will, but as describing Garrett Jacob Hobbs.
Yes,
correct. And it didn't stay there because there was something kind of elevated about it that would have been, I think, hard to perform in that context. But coming later on, once we've established the tone of the show and specifically about Hannibal, it was just every so often you get like a little, something to say as an actor. You're like, and then you mess it up like really, really badly, right?
But you didn't.
But it was there were a few of those scattered through. You get the next episode script and find, I see what Brian did there. That's great. Yeah.
David, what about you? You're a big fan of the character and the franchise. What was your favorite inside reference to the?
It's funny. I'd be on set and I'd read the scripts and then I would hear the line, and I'd be like, that's right. I think perception is a tool that's pointed at both ends, and it really sticks with me because Mads Mikkelsen came in. He just wrapped another film. He was speaking 4 different languages, and every now and again it would be perception is a tool that's pointed at both ways, which I liked a lot. Yes, perception jack is a tool that is pointed at both ways. And then, yeah, that's my favorite.
Are you familiar with the literature, Aaron?
Absolutely. I'm thankful because in the books my character's like written this so stressed out he's lost all his hair. I'm just hopefully
Season
that
2.
Yeah. So yeah, Chris Elliott plays me in Manhunter, which I think is perfect. If I could just follow his career, just recreating all his roles. Be cabin boy. That would be fun. I'll take that career right now.
So let's give away something else. Let's see, should we do Oof? The script for Oof, the unpublished episode. Have you signed this? So, this episode was directed by Peter Maddock. What 1980 film did Peter Maddock direct that is a classic horror film? Anyone?
No.
Nope. 1980 horror film about a ghost boy in a wheelchair.
The Changeling! Oh my god.
You're right. Good job.
Nice.
How about another question? Who's got the microphone?
So Hugh Darcy.
Dancy.
Dancy. Sorry, I have.
It's okay.
Didn't you play Darcy in something?
That's what makes it.
Not yet, but it's bound to happen.
Now, do you want a white flower crown or a bloodstained one?
I think I'll take the bloodstained one.
Pass it up.
Who's that?
I always take the bloodstained anything. Thank you.
Another question.
Thank you.
You can shout it. Thank you. I think the line that we established early on is that we don't want to rape women. We don't. So there's a we can argue like a kind of fun heightened purple quality to the deaths, and sometimes we have a mix of women and men dying, and we're very conscious in the writers' room of like, okay, we just killed a woman, we have to kill a guy now. So, but that was something that with the murders I can sort of fantasize in terms of a heightened quality of like, oh, a totem pole of people, that's so cool and weird. It's you're looking at a piece of art as opposed to thinking about the brutality of it. But that's something that I can't get inspired by. It's too dark. Another question?
I just want to say, as a vegetarian who loves a show about eating humans, thank you for including a vegetarian character on the show, even if you probably fed her human salad dressing. One of the things I really love about the show is how international it is. So I want to ask, if you've seen it, what you think about the Korean television promos.
They're
if you have anything to do with them,
amazing.
because they're incredible.
They're amazing. Have you guys seen those?
Oh yeah, I watched it on repeat.
They're spectacular. We're doing really well in Singapore and Korea and China and Japan. So there's something about those Asian markets which gave the birth to a new era of horror films in a way that kind of redefined horror for us stateside, and we kind of learned a lot from what they're doing. So I love that those markets are absolutely embracing the Hannibal franchise.
I would like to see more twinkling from you in the second season, if possible. If you could do that.
And didn't they at one point morph onto like a pop star or something? Brilliant.
I have a picture of Mass to give away, taken by David Slade. A high-quality print.
Archive quality.
Does anybody know what play Mads Mikkelsen performed in where he met his wife? Slow Fall. You're right. Have you won something already?
I'm willing to trade.
You want to trade what you have?
Yeah, I have a picture of him. It's just in the fork.
Would you rather have this one than the fork? The fork's pretty great.
Yeah, I think I'll keep the fork.
Yeah, you keep that one. But great answer. So let's okay, so he was in La Cage aux Folles. Who was he playing? Somebody you know?
A Chinese woman.
Yes! Yes! And you won something too.
Can I take that for Freddie? She asked me if I could
Yes,
take
you
that.
can take that for Freddie. Freddie has been an incredible supporter of the show. If you guys are on Twitter and follow tattlecrime.com, there is a wonderful young lady who is the avatar for Freddie Lounge and has
Her
been
name
doing.
is actually Freddie in real life too.
Is it? It's Frederica, right?
Yeah.
What?
Without a K.
Without a K, with a C. So she's been very supportive of the show, so we're very happy that that's going to her. How about an apron? Let's have some sort of wacky food question for the show.
What? Oh,
No, go ahead.
what? Can anyone remember the kind of chicken that is used? This. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then the.
Selkie chicken.
Yeah. Shit, I thought that was tough.
Thank you. There are more Eat the Rude food questions if you guys have, because we have Eat the Rude t-shirts. So, do you have another food question for the show?
No. Well, this isn't a food question. It's a. No. What object in Will's house was Hannibal using to frame him by making it with human remains?
I saw you go up for
Too
it.
easy. Fishing rod.
Yes. What size are you? Small. Did you get an Eat the Rude shirt already?
It's very craftsy.
There
at
you go.
Hannibal.
Thank you. Another question from the crowd? Hey, kitty.
Oh.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
This is Hannibal's cookbook. If you follow her on Twitter, she's been very supportive of the show. I love that we have inanimate objects on Twitter. We have Hannibal's cookbook. We have the Windsor tie. It's pretty fantastic.
Will Graham's boxer shorts.
Well, do we have those? Is that on there? There's Will Graham's boxer shorts. I have to follow Will Graham's boxer
What are my
shorts.
boxer
What do they
shorts
say?
tweeting?
What do they say?
They're dem booty shorts.
Dem booty shorts?
What have you wrought, Brian?
We get a lovely view of you. Okay.
Prison shower scenes. Sorry, Hugh. We're going to exploit you. Asses in the seats.
Oh, so follow me. Serve the rude. Okay. Self.
Promotion.
Yes. Shameless. Okay, so on that vein, I know you guys have probably learned a fair amount about cooking. I'm not asking for tips on how to serve man, but if
Wink,
you
wink.
know what I mean, yeah. Nudge, nudge, say no more.
It's interesting working with Jose Andres because he has this great approach to cooking on the show where he doesn't distinguish between man and beast. And as an animal lover, I love that he does that, where he's like meat is meat is meat is meat, and everything you can eat on a pig, you can eat on a human being. And our very first meeting, we talked about there was a cut scene from the pilot where we met Cassie Boyle before we saw her on the severed stag head impaled, and she was a very rude young woman who was smoking and blew smoke in Hannibal's face. And when he was cooking the lungs, he sort of touched the tissue, and we actually filmed him saying,
Pre-smoked.
pre-smoked. Yes.
So, is it like a white meat or a dark meat? I don't know. What are the food safety?
You're a little too interested in this.
I have a lot of people in my fridge, and I don't know what to do with them.
Okay.
I think we're mostly red meat, but you can treat the meat with certain citruses that will give it a bleached effect, which is something that perhaps Hannibal does.
So,
in
like, I can cook it rare. is what
You can cook it rare, but we actually have Hannibal serving human sushi in the first episode of second season. So that's a lot of fun.
Long pig, right? Long pig.
Yes.
Long pig. That's what it is.
Yes, yes.
Bacon. Bacon. Human bacon.
That we're called long pig.
But it would be like any other animal. I mean, there'll be more fatty cuts of the animal. There'll be leaner cuts, and it also depends upon the human that you put in your fridge, of course,
USDA ratings.
and so on. Grass-fed.
Yeah. All right.
Do we have another
Thank-
how about another question? Do you want to another trivia question?
Oh,
for a blood-spattered Will Graham.
These are all. I think we've established that you guys will just tear through these. So
We've got lots
over
of
dinner,
room.
Dr. Chilton shares that Romans used to kill what animal to eat their tongues? That's it.
You're correct. Blood-spattered Will Graham. Another question from the crowd?
Is this on? Oh, okay. So I know that this timeline for Hannibal is different, obviously. So will you be changing Hannibal's backstory at all to fit with modern times?
Yes. So in Hannibal Rising, we know that Hannibal's family was victims of the Nazi regime, and his uncle Robertus was killed by Nazis, and his sister was eaten by Nazis. And so since Mads Mikkelsen is a young man that wouldn't have been alive in the World War II era, we have adjusted so perhaps Uncle Robertus is still alive. Knock wood. We would love it. We would love that. Another question?
Hi.
Oh,
My name's
hello.
Jennifer. And I'm a Hannibal.
Yay. Me too.
Question for Hugh. How hard is it for you to go from American accent? Do you stay in character all the time? And also in Will Graham's voice, could you say, "This is my design"?
I certainly don't stay in character all the time because that would be troublesome. I don't find the accent too difficult at this stage. I've been acting. Actually, when I met Brian about this time last year, a little earlier, I think it was May of last year, I was doing a play on Broadway which involved hopping back and forth between a British accent and an American accent. So I kind of got that out of my system there, and finally, this is my design.
You did it.
On that front, there actually during dinner one time you were demonstrating, because Hugh is fantastic at accents, and he was demonstrating the difference of a Scottish accent and a Rastafarian accent.
Do it.
It was actually very educational for me.
There is, I mean, if you're, oh God. It is true that if you're doing a kind of bad Scottish accent, like you're doing a bad Scottish accent, like, you know, can easily bleed over until the next thing you know, you're doing a kind of Jamaican accent, right? It's true. And strangely, I'm not going to attempt this, but Welsh can bleed into Pakistani. I have found. Don't ask me how, but I have.
So I have a signed script for Caquillas, which was directed by Guillermo Navarro and is our famous bloody butt crack episode. So can anybody tell us what Scott Thompson's character, Jimmy Price, what is the Viking version of what we saw? I saw you go first. Blood Eagle. Oh, did you sign that one? Good Lord. Good idea.
Get going.
I did it. You're gonna have to do
Be
it.
back in 5 minutes, guys.
So, the episode Entree, which was our Silence of the Lambs episode that introduced Dr. Chilton and Dr. Gideon. Can anybody, this is a really hardcore Hannibal fan question, can anybody tell us where Dr. Gideon came from in the Hannibal legacy? That's exactly right. Did you win something already? Okay. Did you sign that one?
Yeah, let's just sign this one real quick.
Okay. Another question from the crowd while we're signing? Oh, could you pass that back? Oh, thank you. Sir?
I'm a vegetarian, right? So like technically speaking, absolutely not. But yeah, I do every now and again. Yeah.
Well, I get to eat this stuff, some of it anyway, and it's great for the first 4 takes, okay? And then after that, the bucket.
I don't have any food scenes. I just am digging around.
You haven't seen
inside
him
dead
eating.
bodies.
I mean, it's horrific.
So yes, I'm starving all the time.
The episode where he had the heart that was covered with bacon and stuffed and baked in the editing room, and I'm not a big red meat eater. I mostly like fish and vegetables, but like our stomachs were all growling. I was like, if I was going to eat a heart, that would be the way I would want to eat it.
There's an amazing video that Brian sent Mads and myself, like before we even shot the first episode, which was something that he sent on from Jose Andres. Do you remember this? Who I guess was still consulting with Brian, you know, what you can do with animals. And basically, this is one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen. It's just, he took it with his phone, clearly. So all you ever see is his hand, and he goes into his meat locker in his restaurant. I'm assuming it's his restaurant, not his home. And he just goes, and there's carcasses, and he kind of reaches into this carcass of again, I'm assuming, a pig. And he grabs the heart, and he's got quite a big hand. Jose's quite a big guy, powerful, strong hand, and he's just going, And then he pulls out another organ, he's like, oh. So I knew we were onto a good thing.
Jose sent me a picture of this young cow or bull, and he said, "Oh, it's my birthday, so I'm eating this animal." And it was just like this happy cow, like looking, and it just sort of it was very Hannibal-esque. Let's have another trip. What's the next script?
Savoureux.
Savoureux. Are we
Savoureux.
Have you signed this one?
I've signed them all now. They're all caught up.
So, in this episode, we have I'm now into the Japanese titles, so I have to look back and go like, which one was this? Because I get it mixed up with that's the finale. It is the savory dessert, and so what's a good trivia question from? Can anybody tell us? Bedelia du Maurier is Gillian Anderson's character. Can you tell us where her first name comes from and where her last name comes from? Oh. Okay, let's just do the.
No?
I saw you first.
Both.
We'll do the last name because the first one is obscure. That's exactly right. And the first name actually comes from Creepshow. Where's my Father's Day cake, Bedelia? So that shows you what a horror geek I am. Another question from the crowd?
Here. This
You're
is
next.
kind of stupid, but with the angel episode, you know, at the end the guy killed himself and did the angel thing.
Right.
How?
You know what it is? All these serial killers, including the guy that puts up the totem pole, they actually they hire a consultant. There's a team of people who are very, very adept at arranging death sculptures, and then they come in, they charge a very reasonable fee, and then they get out. And we all know about it in the FBI, but it's just, you know, they're earning an honest living, so we try not to get in their way.
I always imagined a very sophisticated series of pulleys and levers that like hiked himself up there. Was our rationalization. But yes, it's like, how the hell did he get up there?
He whipped his own. Well, yeah.
Yeah, he removed his own genitalia earlier on in the episode.
I figured if you can do that and survive, I'm in. I believe it.
And that was actually cut from the show because we had the testicles in a jar.
Yeah,
and
was that you or Scott?
Yeah. No, that was I got to chase Scott around with those balls.
I remember that because we had a close-up where you're holding them up like this.
That's right.
I was in the sound mix, and we were like, "There's no way." There's this.
Yeah, you can't put a close-up on Aaron Abrams.
And it was like, "Here's no of the testicles."
Were you struck by their enormity? Because on
Yes, they were massive.
No, I was
is
not.
this guy?
Was I supposed to be?
Well,
I
they
thought
seem kind
looked
of small,
the
actually.
Average testicles.
But we actually put a little. He held them like this and shook them, and we put a little chickle sound. Knowing full well that that shot would not make it to the cut, but we were like, maybe for the DVD. Chickle.
That got cut.
Hashtag jiggle.
We have about 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. So
Okay.
if you guys want to? I know it's a bummer, right? It's...
Zachary Levi, everybody. Thank you for these panels, Zach.
Guys, not only are you getting Brian Fuller, but you're getting his pants as well. I mean, come on.
It's a present from my sister. So we have how many? 5 minutes?
Roughly, yeah.
So let's do like quick giveaways. We have a lot of stuff to give away, and you have a question.
Yes. It's okay. I'll repeat it. Yeah. Okay. So the question is, what do I think of San Diego's airport carpet? The reason that's not code. No, it's. I have actually in the past taken a photo of San Diego's airport carpet, and the reason they have no idea what I'm talking about. A good friend of mine, George Pendle, runs a website called carpetsforairports.com, which I advise you all to visit. And in that, he collates photos of airport carpets from around the world. And there's a kind of spinning globe. You can use the mouse or the cursor to spin the globe around. And
Can't believe you
you'll
have
see
a story
little
about
red dot, and you hone in on wherever it may be. And he writes a little blurb about them, which he makes up.
Are
It's
you serious?
I'm totally serious.
I just assumed.
No, this is entirely true. And he writes a little blurb. He just makes up some crap about it. He's quite a funny guy. And you know, anybody can send in an airport carpet photo if you happen to find yourself in an obscure airport. A lot of them have been done now. So, yeah, I can't remember San Diego.
Turns out that was an awesome question.
Yeah. Carpetsforairports.com. I'm the unofficial ambassador. I got thrown out of a lounge, for trying to take, because there's a security risk of taking a photo of the carpet. Oh, but I'm gonna tunnel into your lounge in the future or something.
So, okay, we have a script for Aperitif, our first episode, and can anybody tell us the very opening scene where Will Graham is processing the crime scene? Whose crime scene is he processing? I saw you go up first. That's right. It's the very first murder of Francis Dollarhide that we will establish later. So that was a good one. Where did it go?
You guys are really smart.
We have, let's see.
Yeah, we have a few to go.
Okay, so. Oh, so
I have a question.
yes.
Okay. So first, I had something for Hugh,
Thank you.
and if I could get a picture of him with it, that would be
Absolutely.
great.
Oh my God, that's
And
great.
then-
That's fantastic. Wow, that's fantastic. It's Save Will Graham embroidery.
Hey.
Thank you. Funnily enough, my wife has really got into embroidery recently. She's not that good. Yet.
So let's give away. Can anybody think of a trivia question regarding Garrett Jacob Hobbs and his daughter Abigail?
Well, I mean, there's like if anyone knows lines from the series that also appeared in the book Red Dragon, that could be a way to rifle a bunch of these off.
Yeah. So, if you're Harisian files, raise your hand if you can quote something that appeared in the book that was also in. I saw you go up first. Yes.
I don't remember that.
In the book?
Alana. That's it. So, the smallest shirt that I have is a large. You can. Do you want Eat the Rude or the Swiggity Swag? That's a good one. Let's see. See if we have actually that episode, which was. Do we have that episode where that line was from?
That might have gone out already. That was Guillermo.
That one already went out. So let's do roast. Anyone else? Oh, there you go. That's close enough. That's picture, script, T-shirt. The pictures are pretty great. That's my favorite one that David has taken. Oh, you pass that back.
Hello? Yeah, hi. I got a question.
Okay.
So, I'm a big Thomas Harris fan, and I was wondering, first off, Hugh, can you say hi to my friend Christina?
Hi, Christina.
And you were talking about you're gonna go through Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal. So you're gonna have Clarice come in and become Hannibal's lover. Are you gonna bring back Will to go catch them or kill them or?
Well, the Clarice we actually don't have the rights to. So what we are going to do is try to convince them to give us the rights by the time we get to season 5.
All right.
And short of that, it may be, Clarice Clarling, played by Aaron Abrams.
Can I get a script?
You have to quote something.
I got it. Hello, Clarice.
That's not a good one.
I ate his liver with a nice Chianti.
That's not a good one. Come on, it has to be from our show. Well, if you think of one, we'll come back to you.
All right.
But does that count? Sure. That's a good one. That script. Let's see. That was. Did we given that one away? I think we've given that. No, was it? Sure. Which one was that? Was that? Yeah, I gave that away. So here's sorbet. There you go.
How about the lady with the polka dot top on over there? Yeah.
Sometimes I turn the lights on in my house and walk in the fields around my house, and it looks like it's floating on water.
That's true. That is from the opening that Thomas Harris wrote for the re-release. So, T-shirt, picture, script.
Apron?
All the aprons are gone.
T-shirt, extra large.
Eat the rude.
Thank you.
Heads up.
Okay, this is a question for Hugh Dancy. Would you sign this for me?
Yes, God, I look really ill.
And would you take my friend's cookies too?
Would I take them like medicine?
Cookies?
What's that? What cookies?
4 sets of chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
Crumbled, but
Amazing. Quotes are back there. I see you step right there. That's a good one.
Look at that. It's pretty cool.
T-shirt, script, picture. Let's give you Fromage, one of my favorite episodes with Tobias Budge. Antlers.
the very air was smeared with screams.
That's a great one. T-shirt, script, picture.
What was that? The Ravensback shirt?
The Ravenstag shirt. It is a large, so you may be sleeping in it. Or going to the gym. Look, sorry.
Ryan, I've got Freddie on the phone. Could I get a real quick? Can she say hello?
Yes.
Can I use the mic? I don't know if it's gonna show up. Freddie, are you there?
Yes, we can hear you, Freddie. Hey, we wish you were here.
I'll take that.
I'm right here.
I think Zeller wants to pick.
Was that a road trip for justice?
Yes.
In a flaming wheelchair?
I think the answer to that has to be yes, because I'm just intrigued as to what a road trip for justice would look like. So if you get me out of jail, I will start talking with an American accent again, and I'll go on a road trip with you.
Thank you, Freddie.
Thanks, Freddie.
Right over there. It's a little cheaty.
That's a little cheaty.
It's a little.
Right down here.
We'll give you an.
She snuck you in here? Security! Security! I'm kidding.
Right down here. Well, the dogs are with Alana. Yeah, she offers to. In fact, I think she not only offers, but when she comes to see me in the interrogation room in the final episode, she says, "I'll take your dogs for however long, I may have to look after them." And I think I say something along the lines of, "That could be quite a long time." Yeah. And in fact, there was a scene.
There was a scene. Yeah.
Deleted
on the DVD.
Oh, that scene is
on the
amazing.
DVD. Wait, what?
The scene that was deleted.
How do you know?
Yeah.
It was in the script. It was in the script.
Oh, okay.
Get the scripts.
We should.
Sure you do, Aaron. You didn't even know what they were when you signed them. Like, what are these things? God, these are some of the words I said.
We shot
there was
the
a scene in
we
which
shot a scene,
in which I come having escaped from the prison van. The first place I go to before making my way to Hannibal's office is Alana's house, and I say hello to the dogs, and and then I kick one of them. No, I don't. And basically, Alana, she makes the decision to. I'm allowed to kind of. Yeah. So she hands me her car keys, but in the process, I notice that she's kind of flicked them, kind of opened the car automatically, and I realize that she is signaling to agents that are waiting outside that I'm going to be coming out. So Will is completely abandoned. Yeah.
Poor Will.
So then I go out the back.
That's true. That's true. They are T-shirt, picture, script.
I'll trade you a book for a script.
Oh, I have that book.
We have about 3 more minutes to hand out 5 more items.
I have a question.
Hello.
Hello. I'm from Toronto, so I like playing Spot the Landmark a lot. Thank you. Do you draw any sort of inspiration when you're writing the scripts based on the landmarks, or what, like from the city? Do you draw any sort of inspiration for the episodes?
Absolutely. I think David can speak to that, because when we first were in Toronto, David found some amazing locations that gave us that great Midwestern feel.
Yeah, I think one of the things with the skies in Toronto, very, very dense clouds, really beautiful skies. So I was like, we have to, I think that partly that's how our time-lapse established shots came about, was because we were so many beautiful skies and the landscapes there just absolutely gorgeous.
The quality of light in Toronto is pretty spectacular. It's a pretty city.
It's great for photographing because it's very soft light, which we get in England, but in England there's never any. It's just too soft, and it's just the right density in Toronto.
Stupid English
Quotes, quotes, quotes. Have you won something? No. Okay. Yes, that's a good one. Script, picture. Let's see. Where's my deer and hat and Will Graham doll?
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Right there?
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
God must enjoy killing people. He does it all the time.
That's a great one. Script, picture, the last script. If you could pass that back. Or should I do you, if you pass that back? Oh, right there? Oh. Yes. Picture, t-shirt, we have Daddy-Daughter Day and Hannibal. That's exactly right. Oh, there you go. Somebody already used that one. Oh, sorry. Sir? Oh.
I hope this counts, but Will Graham remarking that killing Derek Pig Pops felt good.
Yes, that does count. Picture or shirt?
Sure.
Extra large. Boop. And Daddy-Daughter Day for the last quote. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yeah. Wendy. I think it would be interesting if Freddie had a Wendy as opposed to a Wendell.
Basically, yeah, that's what you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but
One more quote, one more
one more quote, really quick.
It's kind of a continuation of what she said. God dropped a bomb on 42 of his followers.
That's true. That's true. That's a good one. Thank you all so much. Thank
Ladies and
you,
gentlemen,
Zachary.
let's hear for Brian and David and Hugh and Aaron, casting creators of Hannibal.
Thank you.
They gotta go, guys, they gotta go. It's Comic-Con. They have so many people that want to take their clothes off. Let's hear it one more time for these guys, huh? Stay seated, stay seated. We will usher you out row by row. In the meantime, look at your neighbors, say hi, sniff them. I always try to. You get that con smell going on. Oh, is that Hull H? You smell fantastic. Did you guys enjoy that panel, by the way? How amazing are those guys? So good. Oh my God, my pleasure, yeah. I do it for you guys. Look, I mean, anybody go to Chuck panels at Comic-Con over the last years or whatever? As you know, I mean, my favorite part was always the very end where we got to talk to you guys. And sometimes we didn't get that opportunity, and sometimes I was pretty pissed off. So I was like, I want to do this. I want to talk to you guys. And I find that a lot of people really like to do that too, because you guys give us the opportunity to make the shows that we like to make and make the movies that we like to make. And you know, when you work in entertainment, it's a weird profession. I mean, when the apocalypse happens, we're gonna be the first ones eaten, okay? We don't, oh yes. No, oh, I gotta stop talking. I know, I gotta go. I love you guys, God bless you guys. Enjoy.